Right. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, whether you're joining me now or later. I know some of you are still in bed. Some of you might even be in bed as you sit here right now. And that's the wonderful thing about Zoom. You can be doing what you like. Some of those things, using all the top half of you, and the bottom half can do what it likes. So we're going to have a full agenda today, because what I want to do is I want to give you a taste of what's in my book, How to Heal. And I also want to make it an opportunity for you to learn something you can use for yourself and you can use for other people. And there's nothing so empowering as to be able to do something about it. I mean, the most disempowering words that we can ever say are, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. So I just want to turn that on its head, and for us to say, yes, there is something we can do about it, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter whether it's for yourself or whether it's for animals, whether it's for nature, whether it's for people in Ukraine, people in the Yemen, people, your next door neighbor who's just fallen over, whatever. You can do something. And it's all based on love. So everything I'm going to be showing you is based on that premise that everything works through love. It is going to use a bit of your own energy, but generally we're going to be using the energy of spirit, of the universe. So you should not feel depleted in any way after you've done that. I've been doing this work for 27 years, and I have gone through phases where I've been exhausted, but I've realized it's when I've taken on people's emotions and walked away with them. And now I've learned that I do everything I can, and then I walk away without carrying the person. And since then, just doing healing is a joy, and I feel invigorated after it. So I just thought I'd mention that. I'm going to use some slides. You will all get a copy of this. So if there's anything you forget to take a note of and you think about it afterwards, what you really need to do, of course, is buy the book. It's all in the book. So, and I just want to also mention, I've already sent some money across to the Red Cross for Ukraine. And we've had such a great response there. There's more money to go. So thank you very, very much for your donations. Now I'm going to find my slides. And there we are. Just go back there. So the book is out, and it is available on virtually all the it's on all the Amazon sites. They've promised me it is anyway. So if you're in America, you'll be going to .com, and anywhere else it's the nearest Amazon, and even Australia apparently is there now. So now there's a few things it'd be nice for you to have around if you want to get involved in the things as I'm going through them, and little exercises. So there's a thread and scissors. Just ordinary cotton thread is all you need. A bowl of water is not essential with salt in it. It's not essential. You can visualize that. Something to write in. And maybe if you've got your phone nearby, a photo that you might want to send some healing to somebody. So, okay. Now, if I can. Okay. All right. So, in my book, I'm sharing all the symbols that I've been given. Now, when I first started working with healing, I was shown a symbol, and I got a bit bolshy about it and said, no, I don't want to use symbols. But I've learned that the symbols have a huge importance for me in the way I work, because they are a language that I use, and they're a language I can share with anybody. So whatever I'm showing you here today, you can share with anybody else, and the more the better. So this isn't secret squirrel. You don't have to hide it. You may not want to go around drawing symbols in the air over people. They might find that a bit disconcerting, and although they're not going to throw you on the bonfires now, they might still get a bit upset. But you can visualize them as well as draw them. They are a language of intention. So when you draw a symbol, it is stating to the world what you want to do, and you're invoking energies. There's a huge number of helpers in spirit who are just waiting to send the energies through to you. So they're all of a very high vibration. They're better than the love you can give yourself, simply because they don't have any self-doubt. We've all got a certain amount of self-doubt. And they also, these energies come through no matter how you're feeling. I mean, I've been feeling pretty rough at times, and I've thought, well, I'm still going to send some healing to somebody else. I'm literally acting as a corridor. And as a healer, I do feel that I'm more of an orchestrator, as I'm the conductor actually of the orchestra. I'm the conductor that brings the energy to where people need it. And the different symbols just have a slightly different nuance to each energy stream to produce what we're looking for. So they've got lots of different uses. Obviously, in 2 hours, I'm not going to be able to cover all the symbols. And so what I've decided to do is to just focus on 2 main symbols, and then just give you a little taste of others right towards the end. So you can share these. Don't have to, and they've been cleared. Some of them are old symbols that have been misused in the past, but they've all been cleansed, and we're good to go. Oh. Sorry, I've got to do something. Just realized. I surround you all with the blue flame of Archangel Michael, and your energy is protected and clear. I surround myself with the blue flame of Archangel Michael. Our computers are surrounded with the blue flame, and their energy is sealed, and the communication between us is sealed. To remind, whenever we do any work with spirit, we need to seal the energy so we don't get things like what's just happened there, with somebody's come in and started to draw things on my screen, so they can just go away. Right, just to show you these symbols in action, these photos were taken in Japan at a workshop, and the gentleman said, can I take some photos because I want to prove that the energies are working. I said, well, I don't really have to have a photo to prove it. You should be able to feel it, but if you can't feel it, go ahead. And he took these photos, and I was over the moon because they show up so clearly, the energies flowing from the symbols. And it's interesting, you know, most of the symbols have got a dot in them, and I was told this was like a signature, but I think it's the sort of it's almost like an activation, because you see that the light is coming from the dots. Anyway, the light's also coming from me when I'm doing the healing. So I thought it was quite nice of him, actually. Thank you very much, Mr. Japanese man. So we're going to start with the healing symbol, which is probably the most important one, in the sense that you can use it for so many things. And when in doubt, use the healing symbol is my motto. It brings in the energies of love and compassion. I was always helped by the divine feminine energies, and representative of the divine feminine is Kuan Yin, because I started my work in the Far East. I guess if I started it in Ireland, it would be the Madonna and Mary who would be my guide. But anyway, they hold this energy of love and compassion. They bring in this energy. So when you draw the symbol, these are the energies that flow. And of course, you're going to be adding your own love to what you do as well. So very powerful. You can use the healing symbol for anything physical. This is the one that I use most often if someone's got a hurting arm, leg, broken leg, anything like this, and often use it alongside other symbols as well. So you can use it for mental health issues. When someone is bottling energies down, which is you'll find often when you start to, I know a lot of you are healers anyway, but when you start working with people in a more serious way, one of the things that comes up is or gets you have to address all the time is suppressed emotions. And to clear suppressed emotions, the best way to do it is to actually to transform the energy. And that's what we do. Put a lot of high frequency energy into low frequency energy, and then the energy changes. Because energy doesn't go away, you just need to change the form of it. Had some very good discussions with my husband who studied physics at university, and he actually understands what I'm talking about, because he says, well, he understands energy. So when I talk about energy, he understands it. So as long as we don't get too far away from that subject, we can get on very well with my work. So it can also use it for relationships, and I'll be talking a little bit about that later. Relationships are hugely important for us. They are the backbone of our lives. They're the rocks that we fly from, and they are what uplift us and give us the quality of life. And when they don't work, we get dragged down. So healing our relationships is really important. You can use this also for uplifting the energy of your home and your workplace. You can use it on your animals, you can use it on wild animals, you can use it on your pets. And you can even use it to uplift the energies of your food and water. And you can put the symbol underneath anything on a piece of paper, and then that energy, as you can see from that photograph, the energy is constantly being channeled through. So what do they actually do? So they, as I mentioned just now, they transform by raising the frequency of something or some aspect of a person, or an aspect of a bee, or anything that grows, anything like a tree. You want to make your flowers grow, it all helps. Helps to make you happier because it lifts your spirits. But when you've got a lot of negative energies within you, they become toxic. And those negative energies can be old wounds and scars from your past, and they can be, and they in themselves end up blocking your limitation, or putting limitations on you and what you can achieve and what happiness you can achieve yourself. They change the state of how you feel. So what we're doing is we're channeling light, bright energy to lift us above the difficulties that we're going through. So a lot of the work I do is about clearing old wounds, old scars, traumas, and imprints. Imprints are when something bad has happened and the shock is held within your soul and your spirit. So I'm going to start by, did I miss something there? No, sorry. I'm going to I'm just having a moment because I can't see anywhere that tells me that this is recording. But you see, I'm paranoid about this recording situation, but we definitely went on to record, didn't we? So I'm going to do an attunement now where I'm going to bring in the healing symbol. And if you wish, you can open up and allow that symbol to actually become part of you. So it beds in within you. So that makes it even more powerful for you. And it means that when you use the symbol, you're in tune with it immediately. So if you'd like to just close your eyes and relax. Just relax, drop your shoulders, just open your heart. And open your heart by using your hands to represent the doors of your heart, and then open them wide, and that allows the energies to flow in. I'm bringing in for you now a golden star tetrahedron that spins and spins and creates a light body around you. And this will bring you into a state of calm and peace as it absorbs all the thought forms of anything negative that's troubling you, the worries and the anxieties. The thought energy sits around you like heavy clouds. So the star tetrahedron spinning will just release all those energies and lift them and raise them higher and higher. Now visualize on top of your head, on your crown, a lotus with 1,000 petals, and it's closed at the moment. And you're just going to open this. Just see the petals of your lotus opening slowly, slowly, one by one, until you have beautiful lotus in full bloom above your head. This represents your opening to the beauties of love and spirit. And you're protected by the blue flame. Your energy is sealed from anything that isn't positive. Now, you put your feet on the ground or think about your feet going onto the ground. And just allow your energy to flow down deep into the earth, through your earth star, down into the earth, and connect to Gaia so that you're one with the earth. You're now a beautiful bridge between heaven and earth. Beautiful bridge that brings in the spirit of light into the world, into the material world. And I'm bringing in now the symbol. I'm bringing it in for you. And as it comes into you, it brings its energies of love and compassion and fills you with these energies. Filling you, this beautiful energy fills every cell, finds everything that doesn't resonate with love, bringing you into a state of peace. And we ask this symbol to stay in your being, constantly with you, constantly pulsing these beautiful energies of light. Holding that energy, preserving it in you now, right now, right now. Good, good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Good. Fantastic. So slowly come back into the room, and here's the symbol. Now to use the symbol, you draw it in the air 3 times. Doesn't matter which way around you draw it, if you're left-handed or right-handed, do it with your nose, whatever. Just draw the symbol, and the energies now will flow through your hands. So you may feel a little tingling, and if you actually draw it and pass that energy into something, the energy vibrations will affect whatever it is you're you're directing the energy to. So you're now also a conductor of energy. You're conducting the orchestra of energy. Put it wherever you need it to go. So just a little procedure that I put together. And in the book, I've got lots of these little procedures, which I call rituals. And for the way I work is that I prefer to say out loud what's happening. It's like you become again, as the conductor, as the boss of the orchestra, you become the boss of the energies, and you're dictating how you want them used. And I've found that there's something called dominion, and dominion is mentioned actually in the Bible. And when in the Bible it talks about God gave man dominion over, and that sort of gives the authority. Now, that's all gone a bit haywire since those early days when the Bible was written, and we really don't know very often the absolute truth of the words. But what I feel, it's the nearest thing that I've come to, is this authority that you use when you say things out loud. And we have got a lot of powers that we don't actually use. And I believe that this is one of them, that we actually have more authority of the way our lives are conducted, what comes into our life, what goes out from us. And this is why I say words out loud. I call in also help from spirit, because spiritual masters, guides, angels, whatever your affiliation is, they have the ability to see the bigger picture, whereas we're always dealing with what we can see in front of us, what we can feel, but there's often a bigger picture, so it's useful to call in some help. So I just say I call in my guides and angels, and I usually call in the guides and angels of the person I'm helping. I also think it's important for you to protect and seal your energy whenever you're doing any healing. If you're doing something in the fly and you're running past somebody and you see they're stumbling, you can send a quick zap of a symbol through to them. You don't probably bother then, but if you're doing a formal form of healing of any kind, it's really good to call in the blue flame of Archangel Michael. And I say my energy is sealed and protected now, right now, right now. Now, the right now is to make it instant and make it happen in the moment. Again, this authority. You can also clear a lot of energy through using your hands as a comb, and especially when you want to get rid of those thought forms I mentioned just now. They sit around. You can see them in the picture. These are any constant thought that you get over and over again becomes a cloud, a heavy cloud. And it's heavy energy because it's low frequency energy. So if it's, I wonder if I have enough money. Will that contract come through? No, what if I've done the wrong thing here? What if I got the wrong partner? What will happen if I can't pay my electricity bill? All those things that are going on around us at the moment. And we're not only getting our own thought forms that are around us, but we're getting the world's thought forms around us too. And even if you don't watch the television or listen to the radio, you can't be, you are aware that there's a war going on, there's conflict in other parts of the world too, there's bad stuff going on out there. And those fears that every person, for example, in Ukraine and Yemen are going through, and all in Myanmar and all the other places where people are suffering, those fears are all going to affect us because we're all connected spiritually. We're all part of a bigger being, and so we are affected. So sweeping your hands through your aura and just flicking it into salt water is the ideal thing, but you can't walk around with a bowl of salt water all the time, but it's quite useful to have it in your home somewhere, and then you just sweep and throw the energy into the bowl of salt water, and the salt will absorb and transform the negativity for you. the real thing is you don't want to do this and throw it at your cat or your dog. Come to that. Just make sure you are conscious of the fact when you're moving the energy from around you that you're putting it somewhere else. If you haven't got a bowl of salt water, visualize and imagine you have. Works extremely well. Otherwise, your crystals will pick it up as well. So don't have to make a big issue of this, but it's a really good way to start. Clear your aura and call in for help and protect yourself. Then you draw the symbol 3 times and place your hands wherever you feel the energy is needed. Now, I've just quickly put the basic chakras here. If you follow chakras, you can use you put the energy into each chakra. You do not have to draw the symbol for each chakra. You just draw it once, then you place your hand on the chakra, and you don't need to leave it there for very long, just a few moments. If you're doing this for somebody else, again, you can actually say what you're doing. Okay, if you've got pain and any physical pain, put your hand either on or above the person's where the pain is. I'm doing my healing through Zoom, so I can't actually get and touch someone's knee, but I can direct it by saying I'm sending energy into your knee. See, it just works. Okay. Of course, all of this is in my book, so you don't have to write all the notes if you don't want to. Okay, if you want to heal the whole body, the best place to put the healing symbol and focus your attention is on the crown. So if you want to give yourself a good zap all the way through, put your hand above your head on the crown. See that? Right through the whole body. Now, I suggest, if you're not doing it already, that you give yourself a little bit of a healing night now. And this is a good place. If you've got any questions, what we've covered so far, you might like to share it in the chat box. And see what you feel. I get whooshes. That's a technical term for a surge of energy. So if anybody's got anything they want to ask at this point.
I've got a question, Anne.
Thank you. Okay.
Can you give healing to somebody that without asking them? Should you connect with their higher self first and ask permission?
Yeah, when I first started healing, this was a big debate going all the time because Reiki was quite popular at that time and it came up with Reiki. And I asked my masters about this and I meditated on it a lot. And the answer was, no, you don't have to. And I tell you why. It's because you're sending love. Now, if you were to start trying to manipulate their lives, it'd be a different thing. But you're sending love. So we're just sending love. So whenever I do distance healing, it tends to be quite simple. It tends to be sending the love. And what I do for distance, and we're talking about distance healing in a minute, but I visualize the symbol going into the person. Now, I'm quite visual, I can do that. Some people can, some people can't. And if you can't, you write the person's name and you draw the symbol over it. Hold your hands on that picture or their name, and that does it. Because it's the intention, you see. So you don't have to go into a big kerfuffle about whether this is good or not. Now, the thing is, they may use it for something you don't intend it to. I mean, I've told a few people this already. My mother had a very bad hip, so I was sending healing for her hip. And she rang me up the next day, and I was overseas, and she said, "I felt fantastic yesterday." I thought, "Yeah, well, I was doing you a lot of healing." She said, "Yeah, I managed to clean the kitchen from top to bottom." I said, Not what I intended, but never mind if that's what you wanted to do. So yeah, so their free will and their higher self steps in then what they do with it. They may reject it. They may say, "Oh, don't want that. We're not in the mood for taking any energies," and they might block you. So that can happen too. Yeah.
Okay, and can I just ask as well, when you do the symbol, whether you visualize it, you're doing it, or whether you're physically doing it over somebody, do you have to do it 3 times? Or, you know, if you were walking past somebody in the street and they looked like they needed some loves and healing sent their way, would you, you know, sort of have to think of it 3 times, or can you just do it the once, or
No, when you
visualize the symbol?
just visualize it. Just visualize it. Well, I mean, one of the things I do is if there's an animal that's died or something, you know, you get roadkill. I always think, oh, that poor little soul, and I always send the little symbol. And sometimes I just draw it, and sometimes I just visualize it. So either way,
Yeah.
there's all those little. Yeah, it's quite. This is the thing. You feel so empowered because you can do things all the time. And of course, what's happening, and the great thing about it is this light's coming through you. So all this energy is coming through you. So you always feel good after you've been doing it.
Mhm.
So, well, good. Sandy's feeling tingles. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to come on to looking at to see.
Could I ask a question,
Suzanne,
Anne, please? Hello. I've got a few that I've written down, actually. First of all, can we buy the book anywhere other than Amazon?
You can buy it from our website, yes.
Oh, great. Okay.
And signed copies from the website.
Lovely. I'll do that.
All there, and she's also got the envelopes that fit. So she's all geared up for it. So you're very welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. And can I use these symbols alongside the Reiki symbols?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Yes. And I mean, my intention is to buy the book and use this for other people, and also help them use it for themselves. Obviously credited to you. Can we attune other people to the symbols?
You can attune someone to the symbol, yes, because with your intention that this symbol sits within them, they need to be welcome for that. You know, that's why I said you can. Yes. You don't have to, but yes, you can. Yes, you can, because I teach people to teach. I mean, my whole philosophy is I don't want to set up a big school of teaching. I don't want to have to give out loads and loads of whatever. You know, that's just what I want to do. The symbols, you can pass them to anybody.
Lovely.
So you can show them how to show them. I've shown people like taxi drivers how to do it, and it's lovely. And children are very responsive to this. Very.
Yeah, that's perfect. And at some point, can I have your website address, please, so that I can go to it?
Yes, it's annejones.org. Nice and easy. Anne with an E. And you'll go to the shop. You'll find the books in the shop.
Lovely. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Lovely. Okay, Suzanne, bless you. So the results of having a healing with this, for what you feel, you may feel lighter. Everybody nearly always says, I feel lighter when they've had healing. You may feel the heat in your hands when you're doing this. You may feel some tingling. Sandy just said that she felt tingling. Pain now, pain's a funny thing. Sometimes the pain increases before it drops away. And sometimes in healing sessions, people become very emotional because of the energies. It's like having an operation. So you can feel a bit worse for wear straight afterwards, and you can feel quite emotional afterwards, but then it settles down and your frequency will be higher, as completely higher. So you can get some people after especially when we start healing past lives, and imprints that have been going on for a long time, there can be quite an emotional charge afterwards. That's all to the good, because it's things coming up and out. You generally feel more optimistic and brighter. So if anybody's got anything they want to share already. So Mel's felt the heat. That's good. And I think Sandy said she was feeling tingles. Yeah. So anybody else got anything they want to share? Adelaide? Yeah. Because energy and heat go hand in hand, don't they? We all know about that at the moment. Maybe if we use enough of these symbols, we won't have to turn the electricity on. Good. Well done. Well done, you. She's got rid of her headache. Good. Well done, Ellie. Thank you for sharing. And solar plexus, yes. Well, the thing, Mel, the energy in the solar plexus, the one place where we tend to keep our fears and anxiety is in our solar plexus. So when we did the healing all through, the energy goes right where it's needed. And if you've got any worries and concerns in your solar plexus, which is a seat where we push them, it will be working on them, then you'll be feeling something there. Okay. Good, good. Okay, that's wonderful. So it's good for you to feel it, because then you know what other people will feel when you give it to them as well. All right, so I just want to talk a little bit now about energy blocks. I think this is one of the most important things I focus on when I'm doing healing for people, is looking for finding out why they've got a problem. What's the reason? And we're looking, if you're holding your own personal intention all the time, that you're going to be looking for yourself and for other people, what is underneath this? We have that expression, don't we? What's going on? What's going on? But it can be a bit of a cliche, but it is. The truth is that there will be a reason why you've had this illness, the reason why you've got a problem. And we're not going to talk about all that today because we haven't got time, but you know, life lessons come into it a lot, plans to learn something, to develop something, to grow something. But one of the things as a purely in a healing environment is that when you've had a shock, it leaves an imprint, it leaves its mark on you. And I've just got the little drawing of, this is what happens to your aura when you have a shock. And that can be a one-off shock or a series of things that are hurting you. And it can actually last for, the impact can last for several lifetimes. So what happens is, it's like a nugget of energy, a big chunk of the trauma shock. Now it sits in you, and it holds the emotion that you're going through as this shock occurs. One of the most common emotions, of course, will be fear, because something nasty happens, you go into fear because of your life being threatened, or your peace being threatened, or something else being threatened, health being threatened. But you can also hold guilt in these imprints. You can, there's a lot, anger is another one that gets stuck in there. And what happens is, it's negative energy. So it attracts more negative energy. So the more imprints from the traumas and experiences of your past that you're holding that aren't healed, the more you will start to attract negative situations into your life in the form of bad luck, hurtful people, job problems, problems with the family, and generally your life will be more challenged. Now the idea is that you learn from whatever happened in that shocking situation. You might have attracted it in the first place to learn something. You might have had to meet an abusive person to learn what abuse is, that you're going to not accept it and you're going to walk away. I mean, this is a big subject in itself, but once you've made decisions to be in your own power and to claim your own power, and to move into love rather than hate, that you can dissolve some of those traumas just by decisions you make and lifestyle changes you make. But with healing, we can go in and we can transform those nuggets of negativity and bring them up to the surface and heal them, transform them. And these can make huge differences in people's lives. So a really important part of our healing journey for ourselves and other people. When we have these imprints, they also create blocks so that energy doesn't flow. So when energy is not flowing, that will affect us mentally and physically as well. And those emotions that are locked in, they can be triggered by people saying things to us that may come close to what caused it in the first place. And you'll suddenly find that you're shouting at people or reacting to people, shutting down from people, and hurting people because of what you've got locked inside. So these are a target for us as healers to clear these blocks. It might be useful for you to just at this moment to write down any blocks and imprints that you feel that you're holding. Very often they come from childhood, things that happened to you in childhood. And what you do is you write down what you want to heal. And I'm saying sign your name to it because that's your intention. This is it. You're in control. Now you are going to take over. You're going to sort this. Now, obviously, this isn't something you can do in a nanosecond. So you may want to continue with this after this morning. Hugely important to acknowledge what you want to heal. Hugely important to put your intention firmly behind the fact that you are going to change this. So you can expand on that and make that a bit of a project for yourself to simply identify. And, you know, as I say, there's the big things that have happened. They are pretty easy to remember. But the triggers will show you the hidden ones that may have come from previous lives. So if you find that you're out of control, then that is a signal to you that there's something that needs to be healed. Anytime your thoughts and words and actions are not from your highest good, they're coming from a sense of being out of control, when emotions overwhelm you, then you know there's something to be healed. Emotions are great indicators, especially the negative ones, of course, are great indicators that there's some trouble underneath that needs to be dealt with. So this is an ongoing job, really, that you notice yourself over the next week or two, that when you say, why did I do that? Or why do I react so badly to that person? Or, you know, why am I having sleepless nights? Or what's causing all these headaches? Blah, 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 blah. Why aren't I happy? Just ask yourself the question, you know. Something here within you is stopping you from being happy. But now, the first and most important thing is to stop blaming other people and start to find out what you're attracting into your life yourself. We do create what goes on by what comes from within ourselves. Now, looking at this picture, this is to show you how this affects on the physical side. When you're holding these blocks, the energy which runs through your natural energy flow, which runs along meridian lines, gets blocked. When it gets blocked, and when you hold toxic energy in your body, then over time, you may find you get very tired, or you may find you get sick. I've got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And ever since I was a tiny baby, I've had stomach problems. I was throwing up every week when I was a tiny baby, apparently. And all through my life, I've had these problems. And always, anything that happens, it affects my stomach. And I know I'm working out, I'm 76 now, for God's sake. I should have learned out what most of them are, but I'm still learning what some of these things are that are causing it. And it is my own attitudes and my own imprints that need to be healed. And gradually I'm ticking them off. And I'm much happier, easier to be with. For myself, my own personal dialogue's a lot easier now than it ever was. Just because you keep noticing when things aren't working and look to see what the reason is. It affects your mind. These thought forms. Thought forms can come from these imprints. So an imprint is something that's painful. It's something of a low frequency, and it will send out impulses that create thoughts. So it affects the way you think. Worry, anxiety. Do you worry unnecessarily about something that you know there's nothing you can do about? Or do you worry constantly about the future? What's the point of that? You've got to live in the moment. As long as you obviously live sensibly, so much you can't plan and do for the future. Why waste energy on worrying about it? Why do you worry so much? It can be, and we'll look at this briefly, it can be something you've inherited through your lineage, but it could be something that's come from yourself as well. Either way, it can be healed. Either way, it can be healed. Do you see things through a dark glass? In other words, are you a pessimist? Or do you look out the window and see, like my mother did something, always see the dirty smears on the glass, or do you see straight through and see the sun shining? You know, how much faith and trust do you have in yourself and other people? Have you lost trust? Do you close yourself off to close, loving relationships? Do you find that you rely, well, I doubt if you're relying on drugs, but your people that you're helping might do. There are all sorts of drugs as well, not heavy drugs, but anyway, do you rely on external forces to make you feel happy, or can you make yourself feel happy? And confidence and self-esteem, all these are signs. They're not anything you've done wrong. It's not about you being a bad person or a stupid person, or you've done anything. It's just things that have happened to you that need to be healed. That's why healing is the most empowering thing you can do, because you are taking control now. Back to what we should be doing, and this is, I say should be, because I think we are. Because we are humans, we are a mix of spirit and the human being side of us. The spirit side of us has got depressed and pushed down. If the spirit side of us is much stronger, we'd feel that we have more control, and we feel we'd have the ability to put ourselves right. This is a picture of how I see our spiritual energy. And again, looking at these imprints. This bottom part of this picture is a picture of your soul energy. This is the spirit we talk about as our everyday energy, and of our heart, which is a hugely important part of it. The soul gets beaten up whenever you come to earth. It's the same soul. It gets pushed around. It's been treated like a football, and it holds all the bad stuff that's happened. And these imprints are there. And then what happens is these imprints become magnets. Now, if you haven't got any imprints, which would be fantastic, you're probably up in the 5th dimension floating around being wonderful. But if you haven't got any, your heart becomes your magnet. So once you get to a certain point, when you've got less negative magnets and more positive magnets, you know your heart is open, it's wide, you're cheerful, you're outgoing, you're sharing your light, you will find that you attract people, the same sort of people. You start to attract good things in your life. While you're holding these negative imprints and they dominate, then the negative stuff comes in. And of course, there's always going to be the random bad stuff that happens, but that's life, and that's why we're here, because if we weren't going to go through this, we'd be on the cloud still, we wouldn't be down here. But generally speaking, the more you can get rid of the imprints, the luckier and lighter your life becomes, less toxic. You're connected to your higher self, which is the part of your spirit that doesn't come to earth, with this cord, which flows from the center of your heart. This is why the heart's so important. So when we touch our heart and say, this is the real me in there, it's true, because the real you runs from your higher self through into that part of you. So the heart, all my spiritual healing journey has been very much focused around healing my heart. So I put a lot of emphasis on that when we're healing people. And your emotions block this connection to your higher self. Now, your higher self has all the wisdom you've ever accumulated in many lifetimes' work, everything you've learned sits in this database of knowledge. And also, your higher self is pure, it's love, it's lovely. It's what you are when you leave and go on to the higher planes. You reconnect your soul with your higher self and you go to the level of frequency that you've attained or achieved, that you need to be at. And your higher self also holds your life purpose and what lessons you are going to learn and who you're going to help. And you can change that, of course, because you've got free will. So it's all quite complex, but it's really wonderful, because with free will and the ability to heal, you can change the way things are for yourself. So the blocks and the imprints have a negative effect, and you know people who have become victims. It's not that they want to be a victim, but the negativity has overpowered the positivity within them and they become a victim. And it's very difficult for them to make decisions. It's difficult to find your way around life. You think you're unlucky and you think that life's here just about beating you up. So we need to get rid of them. Now, a symbol that I use when I'm clearing imprints is the release symbol. I love this symbol. I love the whole principle of letting go of attachments, of things that don't work for me, that are not positive. And this symbol I use a lot. You draw the symbol and then sweep. So you use your hands to sweep. I don't know whether you can see me or not, but if you can see me, I'm sweeping. If not, just imagine it. So sweep, draw, and then sweep. You can use this. I'm going to show you different ways you can use this symbol too. That's the principle of it. Right, so when you're clearing imprints, you start off by bringing in protection, calling your guides and angels, and then you say what your intention is. And so my intention is to heal and release, oh, a bit of a typo there, release all imprints and blocks from past trauma. Now, right now, right now. So my intention is to heal and release all imprints and blocks from past trauma now, right now, right now. Then you draw the healing symbol 3 times, place that on your solar plexus, where is a good place to go for anything negative. And then you draw the release symbol and then sweep. All imprints and blocks are cleared now, right now, right now. This is a general one. If you're a list, you can go through each one individually. Whenever I do healing, I tend to blow out a lot. That is a form of I'm releasing the stuff that I'm holding on to. And if I'm healing other people, I'm helping release their stuff too. But generally, you just let these symbols do the work. Has anybody got any questions on this? I mean, we are doing a bit of a fast forward here, but I do a course which is recorded, and it's got lots of videos in it and lots of demonstrations and notes, etc. That's also available on my website. So if you want to spend some time to learn and use the book and the course, and then you can join me. We have a monthly meeting. Anybody who does the course or becomes a member, you can join my membership through the website. Well, every month we have an hour or so where we talk about healing and things that have come up in healing and anything people want to know about healing and any particular sticky problems that people have. We discuss them. So we can carry on this every month. We do. Okay. You got a question? Yes, you can draw the symbols on your palm, place it on your body. Yes, that works. I've got people who have, people have told me that they have had tattoos. And in fact, I've seen the tattoos. And one of my old students tattooed the protection symbol on her back. Other people have put symbols in their shoes. So you can do it. It's up to you, your imagination. Thank you, Sandy. So solar plexus for healing and releasing, and hold in your mind what you want to happen. You're in control now. This is your moment to be in your strength. Some of these imprints, if you've had an abusive relationship with your father, it's going to take you a while to heal that, because your instincts are to love and want to respect your father. So you've got a lot of cultural things to get through as well, the cultural norms and what's expected. And we're going to have a moment to talk about expectations in a minute. These are things that lock and are hard to clear. So you may have to do, it's not going to be just one quick zap and then it's gone. But each time you do it, each time you do the healing on that one particular issue, a little bit more chips away and a little bit more and a little bit more of that dark energy starts to shift. And then one day you realize, hey, thinking about my father doesn't send me into a rage anymore. Yeah. And suddenly you're not averse to men and averse to closeness with men. Say, it'll always have an effect. Every single time you do any healing, it does have an effect. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it will have an effect. So let's have a look at some more things you can do with the healing symbol. Headaches. Somebody already said their headache's gone. If I'm doing a healing for a headache, I use the healing symbol and then I use my hands as combs and sweep away from the head. Just sweep away from your head. Remember those dark clouds that I showed you earlier? You're dispersing those clouds. So that's what you're doing with your hands, with the energy of the healing symbol. really good for headaches. I like the idea of drawing it onto your body with a Sharpie pen. Who was that? Thank you. Now, combing away from the head. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you. So, if you can see me, can you all see me? Right. So, you're using your hands to sweep away. So, you're away from you. Siobhan, away. Yeah. You don't want to bring it in. And in any healing you do, when you do any, you're away from the head. You don't bring anything up to the head because that brings negative energy where you don't want it. You don't want it around your head. So sweeping away. Just think of those clouds. You're just dispersing them. And in healing, we do disperse as well. But you've got this high frequency coming from your hands, so it's just zapping it away. And with children, you know, the babies, you don't want to give them a big blast of healing energy. You just want to sweep gently through their aura. Really works very well with children, and that calms them too, because they've got all those little energy bubbles going on around them, and you're just calming them down. Yeah. With
the headache, Anne,
yes.
is it better to use the release or the healing symbol?
Both. I would choose both. Yeah, you can often use both. You know, the healing symbol is a good one just to start everything, have that going, and then use the others as well. All right. Now, the physical heart. It's advisable not to heal directly onto the physical heart because there's pacemakers and things like that. I've got a friend who's got a fibrillator in his heart, so that if it stops, it starts again. We don't want to start messing around with mechanical things and electronics. So we heal through the heart center in the middle of the chest. Okay. So the heart center, not the physical heart, just because the force of the energy, you can see from that picture I showed you at the beginning, it's got a force of energy coming through from your hands. So just direct it onto the emotional heart, the emotional heart. And of course, one of the reasons why people need healing a lot is because of heartbreak and the pain in the heart from being hurt by people or rejected and so on. So whenever I don't do much hands-on healing now, I did it nearly everything through Zoom now, but if I've got anybody around me who needs healing, I do like to focus on the heart center and on the solar plexus. That sorts a lot of things out. When I've just got a question here from Suzanne about sweeping, it doesn't matter really where your palms are, because I don't know, it doesn't really matter. It's the fact you're using your fingers as a comb. Yeah, good. All right. Now, there's another symbol which shows that we want the energies to go to someone who's not present, and that's the distance healing symbol. It's a bit of an odd one. It looks like a pie with a bit chopped out. I remember showing this at a workshop years ago, and one of the girls burst into tears. She said she'd been seeing this symbol in her head ever since she was a child. And we often have this happen. People have seen these symbols before. They were around at the time of Atlantis, and when Atlantis went down, they got dispersed by the priests who left Atlantis and went to the four corners of the earth. So they went to South America, so they're down there and used quite for different purposes and so on. North America, the North American Indians, I've talked to one who's I can't remember what he was, not Apache, I don't know, I don't know what he was, but anyway, he was a healer, and he said that some of the symbols I showed him are commonly used in the Indian practices. In the Himalayas, they went to in Egypt, and I myself had a past life in Egypt where I put them under the Sphinx, and it was through that's where I have reconnected to them and brought them back into my consciousness. That's how I've got them. So there's obviously a book to be written there, which is being written, but that's where they came from. So you may find some of these familiar to you. You might think, oh, that feels familiar. So this is a distance healing symbol. You do that once, you only need to draw that once, and then you draw the healing symbol on a photo or a picture or the name or an article in the paper or even on your phone. I direct it at the television when I'm watching bad news, just to send light. Okay, it's, again, it's all coming from your hands. Sorry, I've got an imprint that's still going on in my throat. Getting a frog in my throat. So you can use it for people and countries. I'm going to suggest we do a little bit of that now, to send some healing to Ukraine, but we also need to send healing to other places like Yemen and Myanmar, and there's things going on in Africa. Well, there's things going on everywhere in the world. So the general healing for the whole world is always good. I've got, my friends bought me had a little globe that I keep, and I use that. So when I want to send healing to the world, I hold this small globe in my hands, which is really nice. And if you do any group work, it's quite nice to get a map of the world, put it in the center of your group, and then you all send healing into it. So if you get together with other people, it's really good. So let's just do that now. I'm gonna, yeah, let's send to the, well, let me just bring that map back and let's focus on the map. So we just do the distance healing symbol, if you'll remember what that is. And then the healing symbol, and then you can direct your hands to, I'm going to focus on Ukraine, it really needs it at the moment, but also to the world. And you can say, I'm sending healing and love to all those suffering anywhere in the world. Sending love now, right now, right now. Also finding rubbing my hands together brings the energies feeling stronger to me. And if you're doing this for an individual, try to imagine them happy. You want to visualize the way you want them to be. And if they're in a wheelchair, you see them standing up and walking. All helps. It's all very positive. The visualizations are very positive. And you don't need to do it for very long. A few moments is all you need. I've got like a little altar area, and I'm just going to go and get, I'll show you in a second what I've got. So what I've made is these hearts. Actually, friend of mine made them for me. And I printed off a lot of them for the healing. And then I write into the heart the names of the people who I want to send healing to. And then I draw the symbol over their name. And also then I can put my hands on there. Yeah. It's a nice feeling to do that. And then I leave that on my altar with all the others, and all my manifestations and everything else is sitting up there. It's just a center point of it. And if you're not there, you can always think of your hearts with the names in and do it that way as well. So it's a focal point, and I'm sending healing to everybody who's ever asked me, because I've got stacks and stacks of these hearts all filled up. And I just always leave them there. So when I'm sending healing, everybody that's ever asked gets another little zap. Oh, got a nice whoosh on that one. So that's a nice thing to do. Okay. All right. So we go back. The other, of course, you can send healing to the environment, which is needed at the moment. And animals. There's a meditation. Did I put it in the book? Do you know, I wrote the book a while ago. It's a terrible thing to say. I can't remember if I put it in there. There's a meditation I've done. I know I put it in one of my books, which is a meditation that takes you through healing the whole world and everybody in it. Let's have a look and see if I... Yes, I'm so pleased to say I did remember to put it in. So right at the back of the book, it's using the silver ray, which is, which I haven't got time to talk about today, but is a powerful force of energy, which we use for sending healing to everything. And there's this meditation's at the back of the book, and I have recorded it somewhere too. It's probably on a YouTube somewhere. I think I might re-record it and send it out. Sort of, I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So the planetary healing. It's not just planetary, it's everybody in the world, every individual. So the insect kingdom, the animal kingdom, all of it. So I'll record that again. I'll send it out to the members. Good. So yes, everybody can get the benefit. Very, very helpful to use when people are dying, to use the healing symbol. So I often get asked to help when somebody's got a mother or father or a relative or friend who's in just very close to the end of their life, to help them through that transition, because it's quite traumatic for souls in some cases. So you can use the healing symbol for that. And also after a soul's left, you can send the healing to the soul. And some of you may find that you connect to the soul. There may be messages that come through. And the whole point of using the healing symbol is you're connecting to the divine, you're connecting to these higher vibrations of higher realms. So it makes it easier to pick up messages. If I see an ambulance, I send healing. So more things you can do. You can put the symbol under plants for your house plants. There are symbols that calm people down when you see people agitated, but you can use the healing symbol. It's just so universal to send love whenever you see it. Underwater, under your drinking water, Put it in the fridge, under your bed, in your shoes. And we do sell pendants with amethyst because it's a healing crystal, which are in the shop. Again, that's a nice one to wear because you've got it with you all the time. You can put it on your keyring or whatever. So there's more and more uses of the release symbol. So there are a lot of things we need to release. It goes on, and things come up all the time. I'm using this whenever I get a little bit upset with one of the members of my family. So I'm always finding some reason to stop worrying about them, or trying to control them, or wanting them to run their lives differently to the way they are doing when we're getting involved with other people. So the release is very good for that. I've got a whole list of things here. I'm going to go through them all. Releasing burdens, releasing connections, attachments to the past. So you're back in the old drama. Attachments to people that you don't want to be attached to any longer. Attachments to habits. Clearing other people's attachments on you. We're going to heal and clear redundant vows with promises we've made that we don't intend to keep anymore, and that aren't relevant anymore. Physical congestion in the body, traffic jams even, and anything that links you to people that drain your energy. I'm sure every one of you will have somebody who drains your energy. Don't be attached to them. So let's go through some of these things that we can release. Responsibilities. Responsibilities can become burdens. And responsibilities become burdens when they're not your responsibility. So the minute you pick up a responsibility that isn't yours, it becomes a burden and it weighs you down. It's easy to do this with family. It's easy to do this in a marriage or a partnership, in any relationship, where you feel you get involved in situations which are not yours to get involved in. And it's difficult if you're a caring person, you feel you want to help everybody, but actually you can end up creating a great big burden for yourself and actually doing harm to the other person. These burdens sit on your shoulders. So anybody of you here has shoulder, neck and back problems will be because you're carrying a burden or responsibility that you don't need to be carrying. I'm just going to share a little story with you. I went to John of God. Now I think he's been discredited since then, but I tell you, the energies down there in Brazil are amazing at his place. And you can go and he will do little magic on you and do healing for you. So it's quite an incredible experience. And so I don't even know whether he's still working. But when I went there, somebody did tell me that any problem that you have will just show itself up more and more and more while you're there. And one of the things he will ask you to do if you go up to him is to sit in his meditations. And he gives you ideas of things you can do as well. They've got crystal beds and all sorts of other healing devices there. When I went up to him, he didn't know me from Adam, and I went up to him, he said, healing, you've got to do more healing. The healing for myself is the healing for others. And he suggested I have these big crystals. I didn't get, well, I don't know. Anyway, it was a great experience. But one of the things that happened when I was there, the whole time I was there, I had the most incredible pain across my shoulders and my neck. And I've always had a lot of neck and shoulder pain. Anybody that did massage on me said, oh, you've got concrete shoulders. And one of the things you do when you're with John of God is you have a chance to meditate and sit quietly. And you have these rooms that you go, it's quite nice, your room with an ensuite. There wasn't any hardship. But you're not allowed to speak to anybody for 2 days. I think it was 2 or 3 days, something like that, maybe 3 days actually. Not speak to anybody. They bring their food to you, and you do that as long as he told you to do. I think I've obviously needed a bit of a session because I think I had 2 or 3 days there. And the idea is for you to focus on what your problem is, to see what is behind it, as we were saying earlier, what is causing the problem. And my shoulders were just getting more and more painful. So I asked, what is the cause of my shoulders and what can I do about it? And I had a vision, and the vision I had was of me riding through the sky with these amazing horses. They were like the horses of the apocalypse, big black horses, stallions. I think about 8 of them. There was just an amazing sensation. And I was in like a chariot, and I was rushing through the atmosphere. And I felt there was a sort of sense of purpose to this, and it was good. But then these 2 etheric hands came and they took the reins away from me, and they told me to sit back. And I then took away my control of the horses, and then we just went like lightning, and the whole I would call it the atmosphere of the whole world and the universe, I guess, just went light, and I was flying along. And immediately I got the message, of course, that I needed to stop trying to control everything in my life and go with the flow, just to allow divine timing and just hold my intention of what I wanted to achieve, and then just release it and then go. And ever since then, whenever I want to manifest anything, I always end up with letting it go, with surrendering it, so that I'm surrendering it to the higher force. That really helped my shoulders a lot. The pain started to go straight away. And the other thing I learned was that I feel I made a contract to the divine to do the work I do. And it became my driver, so that I felt all the time that any time that I wasn't actually doing this work, that I was shirking, that I felt guilty. Even holidays felt a bit, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, you know, and I must be sending healing to that person, this should and ought thing. And that was the cause for all my pain. And once I decided that I didn't need to do it that way anymore, that I would do everything from love and not from duty, and that was only a few years ago I'd made that decision, everything changed. Everything's such fun and enjoyable now, and I don't get any pain in my shoulders at all. I can't remember the last time I got stiff shoulders, and I've had those all my life. I'm a very slow learner, of course. Very slow learner. So just give yourself some thinking about that. Just think, do you take on things that you really feel you ought to do, or you're doing everything from the heart? Check the responsibility. And you're worrying things about yourself, or are you carrying somebody else? Is there a member of your family that you feel responsible for, but not in just the caring and material way, but in making them happy? I had the same with my mom. I was always wanting to make her happy. And I said to her, I've spent all my life trying to make you happy. And she said to me, then you're very stupid. You can't make me happy. You can make people, you can care for them. You can't make them happy. That's their responsibility. Once you step back from that, you can be so much love, and you can do lovely things with people, but it's a different vibe of trying to fix people, carrying them. You just wear out the carpet, and then they don't learn their lessons either. So you actually slow them down. If you want to do some healing on this, just sweep your shoulders, just sweep the burdens off, just keep sweep, sweep, and use the release, and then use the healing. It's easily done with children that find. It's very easy to get caught up in, once they reach a certain age, they should be able to work out their situations for themselves. But we do have a habit of trying to fix everything, and keep, if they've got problems not managing their money very well, and you keep giving them more money, and you just extend the lesson they're learning for longer and longer. It's easy to say that, I know, but it is just something to watch. So also what you can do is you can cut cords. Now, when you think of somebody all the time, you create a cord, an etheric, an energy cord between you and them. So it's a good thing to do is to cut cords to anybody you feel that you are trying to control or you worry about too much. You worry about. I've got a girlfriend who I absolutely adore, but she spends all her life worrying about everybody else. I can see all these cords, and she says, I'm so tired. I think, well, you will, because you're carrying everybody else on your shoulders. Bless her. So take a thread that represents the expectations you have of other people, or the control or the attachment, and use that thread. I'm going to come out and just show you what I'm doing there. So you take the thread, and then that, and I'm going to think this thread, I'm going to make this my thread to my dear granddaughter, who I'm bothered about. And I've been thinking about her in too much of a fixing way. She's running her life the way she wants to do it. May not suit us, but it's where she wants to be. So I'm now going to release her. So I'm going to just break the cord. Release, set her free. Release symbol. I release. And you can do chop, chop too on your shoulder. This is a good one. Chop, chop, chop. Cut the cords, cut the cords, cut the cords. Cut all expectations too. That's another one. I expect her to do things which she doesn't do. So that's another thing. Letting all my expectations of her go. Right now, right now, right now. I set her free. Right now, right now. I set myself free. Right now, right now, right now. And the release symbol. Very powerful. Very powerful. Do you want to do it now? If you've got some thread, do you want to do it right now? I release all controls and attachments now, right now, right now. And you can reinforce it with chopping, with the release symbol, and then send the person healing. So I'm now sending her healing. It's really a powerful process. You can do this with so many things in your life which you're attached to. And we're going to look at some of the other things just now. Lots of things you probably want to step away from that are not working for you. It's the attachment you're cutting. You're not destroying anything between you. You are releasing your attachment, like when I let go those reins with those horses. It can make such a big difference in your life. Yes, stop. It's anything that worries you, Seti, anything that worries you, just see yourself in the thing that you're worrying about and cut the cord to it. Cut the physical cord with the, with the thread, then use the release symbol and say, I release and let go all my worries about whatever it is you're worrying about. And I release it now, right now, right now. You can almost feel the energy shifting off you straight away. It's incredibly liberating. When my husband and I go out in the forest at morning, if we start to chat about somebody and think, oh, why don't they do this? Oh, we're getting involved, cut the cords, let go. Very, very good. He does it now, he knows how to do it. Anything you worry about, anything that's overwhelming you. Anybody got any questions about that? You can do it for a few people at a time, but it's better if you do it one person at a time, because then you're focusing on that one person and that cord. You can start every day by saying, I release myself from all those people that either attached to me or I'm attached to, that's not for my highest good or their highest good. So you can do something like that if you want to. But for a really powerful process, you do it one-to-one.
And may I share what I just got from that?
Yes, Suzanne.
I haven't got any cord with me, so I visualized. I'm a fantastic visualizer.
Good.
And I saw myself with my younger sister. We bash heads, even though I've done my part and pulled away. Then there was a big thick chain, so I unlinked the chain, and I couldn't. It just kept going back together and going back together. So I did the symbols on my palms, and I put my palm on the chain, and it instantly broke. And although her chain stayed in the middle, my chain came back to me. So there's no connection. That was really powerful. Thank you for that.
That's fantastic. Well done. Thanks for sharing that. I can feel it. Actually, I could just feel it's giving me a whoosh. That sort of, yes, fantastic. And that's also when I get that whoosh, it tells me the truth. So when I'm doing healing and discussing possibilities of what might be the cause, I get a whoosh when it happens. And that was the truth. You've done a really good job there, Suzanne. Well done.
Thank you. It was much needed. And, I love her dearly, but we need to, at the moment, we've got to be together, but we need to separate our energies.
Yeah. Well, you might need to do that on a daily basis for a while. Sometimes you come back because old habits, the habits that we've had a lifetime of doing the same thing. Sometimes you have to keep doing this, but it works. It does work.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bless you. Good. Anybody got asked anything they want to share or ask on this subject? We've got a little bit more on it to do, yeah. This cord cutting is a big part of the healing I do. Okay.
Can I ask something? What it basically is I find that I've got a real spring in my step for a good couple of weeks or so, and I'm fine. And then I don't know if it's partly hormonal as well, but all of a sudden it's sort of like my energy just depletes, and then all of a sudden it's just gone to the point where I'm like bedridden for a good few days. I kind of hibernate and then I kind of restore and then I go back. But is there a way that I just don't get depleted to that level? And so I know I'm not going to be bundles of joy every single day. I just don't want to get so depleted. Do you know what I mean? I can't function.
Do you work with the public or do you work in an office or?
Yeah, I work as like a careers coach, helping people to do with other things other than careers. But we've started going back to the office and I'm really not used to working with other people. I'm only used to being on my own and very quiet.
Yeah, yeah, well, what's happening there is other people's energies are attaching to you. So I'm actually going to cover a little bit of that, but just to make sure I do cover it for you. Things you need to do. There's a morning ritual, which is I've done a YouTube of, and the morning ritual is protection. Now the protection is really important, and for you might need to reinstate it 2 or 3 times a day. You can get into an egg, which has got thick walls, or you can call in the blue flame of Archangel Michael, which, you know, whatever suits you, but you must put something. One of the most powerful things I use these days is a castle, and I step into my castle and I put my clients in their castles. And the castle is what we've always traditionally used to be safe. So you visualize yourself in this fortress, literally your fortress, with thick walls, and you've got parapets and whatever, and you can be in the dungeons, or you can be on the parapet, you can be looking out the window, whatever suits you, wherever you want this castle to be. And the minute you step into that castle, right, I'm okay, I'm safe now. And then the next thing you do is you open your heart, so that you're attracting all the good stuff. So if there's anything good going on, you're going to get it. Opening your heart to give and receive. Then your mind, to open to opportunities. Having an open heart and mind, really important. And then the last thing, which is really important for you, is you connect to your higher self. Remember those emotions that were sitting between us and our higher selves. Once you're not connected to your higher self, you drop your frequency. And what you're doing is you're dropping your frequency right down into depression, which is what we call it. But it is, to me, depression is being disconnected from your higher self. Because your higher self spirit is light, bright, like you are at your best. That's when you're fully connected, and you feel connected and you feel vibrant. But then emotions, which are worries, sit between you and your higher self, and then your energy starts to drop. You've got no resistance to the people around you that are overwhelming, and the rest of the world, and then you sink.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening to you. So by connecting every day to your higher self, you put your fists together like that. So it's like a little ritual. That's the connection, showing the connection. And you raise it above your head, and then you bring the energy of your higher self down to you. And you do that 3 times. Okay, and then that brings you in full connection to that lovely spiritual, which is what you are showing all the time. And that's what we really want to be like that. And of course, there are days and there are going to be situations when you drop.
And I love just walking down the road and like saying hello or good morning to someone, and it's sort of like lately I've just been like, oh, I'm too tired to say hello to someone.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Smart. I love that. Whenever I go anywhere, I'm always smiling at everybody. Most people smile back, even in London. but that is fantastic, because that's what you're here for. That is, Ellie, that's your role in earth, is to bring that light to other people. And anybody that sees you or connects with you gets a big shift of that energy. Bless you. Now that's what you are. It's fantastic.
Oh, make me cry.
Oh, well, it's the truth, darling. It's the truth. But the other people don't all have the same energy, and they affect you. And the more empathetic you are, the easier it is to pick this stuff up from others. But it's our responsibility as empaths to protect our energy. Otherwise, we're back to blaming something. Oh, I can't do this because I'm an empath. No, that's not an excuse. You've got to get to grips with it. One of the people in my life that really important was Sally, who helped me get started on this journey. And she, when as a child, she used to see she can see auras perfectly. Everything that's wrong with someone, she just sees it. And it got her into a lot of trouble when she was a child, because she could see things and they all thought she was like, oh my God, she had to move schools and everything. So she had learned right from early age to shut down her gift, to only open up when she wants to use it. So what you've just got to be a little bit careful of having a filter that, you know, you give out the love, only bring love in. So you put a filter around you. Your intention is to not to be overwhelmed by other people's stuff.
You know what my mum always said? She said, it's like I just don't have any armor. That's what she said.
Your mother's absolutely right. Wise woman. So put your armor on, and then you put your armor on. Yeah. And in work, you probably have to go into the loo in the middle of the day and put some more armor on. Okay. Everybody happy on that? Right. Yeah. Well done, Ellie.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
I can. Ceci, yeah.
Yeah. Because I appreciate that Ellie shared that. Basically, this is the first time that I'm coming, that I'm getting to know you. So I was wondering if there is a place where I can see the rituals and the protection way, because I really would like to do this. And basically, yes, my energy is completely gone. I feel depressed. I had a really bad year last year, and this year is still looking not so bright. So I think that if I could do the rituals and yeah, I'm practicing this, that would be very helpful.
I can't hear you terribly well, Ceci. Are you looking for help to protect yourself?
Yeah, because I kind of feel like blocked now, and I feel that I kind of stop, and I have a lot of fear and anxiety.
Okay, well, a couple of things. First of all, you could book a session and we can do some work on why you're like that. So
yes,
that might be useful. There are YouTubes that I've recorded to help on that. The book's got a lot of stuff in it, and I've also got a little book called Protect Yourself, which is available on Amazon and on my website, which is a tiny book which has got lots of things in it to help you to do protection, and find the ones that suit you, because you know different ones work better for different people. So okay, and as I say, there is a lot in it in the book as well about protection, but these little book as well. So okay, but maybe you need to have a session at some stage. So connect to me with my email address. I'm AnnJones88@gmail.com. Let me put that in here.
Yes, could you please put it, because I'm now an English native speaker. I don't want to make a mistake. If you can put it in the chat.
Oh, that's okay.
Thanks a lot.
There we go.
Oh, thanks.
Just send me a message and we can discuss it and see what works for you best. Well,
Thank you very much. Highly appreciate it.
it's interesting. Vanka is saying that she needs to protect when she goes into kindergarten, but it's right. Anywhere there's people, anybody, it's always good to protect yourself. I mean, I'm doing it all the time. I've also got a diffuser here, which is sending sort of cleanse and clear, which is one of our sprays, which I use to clear the atmosphere. Just you have to take a lot of responsibility on this for yourself, you know, this protecting and putting on the armor. It becomes second nature in the end. Okay, so going back to releasing, just check that you're not controlling. It's ever so easy to fall into the habit of controlling. Only give guidance when asked. Don't try and organize people. Well, I'm sure that you all know about that. Now, expectations. This is another bit of a, what do you call it, a bear trap that we can fall into. When you've got high expectations of yourself. I thought this little cartoon was pretty good because how dare you not live up to my expectations? And this is a story so much with relationships. Having expectations of people that are not able to live up to your expectation, including yourself. And when someone says to me they're a perfectionist, I feel very sorry for them, because it's such a difficult thing to do, because what you do with as a perfectionist, you keep raising the bar, so you're always yearning to be in a situation that you're not. You're always expecting something from yourself that you cannot reach, because that's what a perfectionist does. They're never satisfied with what they've done so far. And I think a lot of us have got this problem, and it's like, it's back to being grateful. Be grateful to yourself for what you are, rather than focus on what you aren't. Just make that your mantra. Be really accepting, happy with what you've achieved, rather than what you haven't achieved. That's the thing that makes you happy. Unhappiness is expecting something that doesn't happen. You're disappointed all the time. And that works for people as well as yourself. Young bride, when she gets married, expects her husband to be a knight in shining armor. That's not going to happen, is it? Disappointments. I look upon everything that I get from my husband, and he's a lovely man, don't get me wrong, as a bonus. And I've turned it around, because the expectation is a template that you put out. Everybody else in the world is using a different template. So a good exercise is to let that go, is to, and the little meditation you can do for yourself is you imagine, we do this in a workshop when we're doing live work, is to have balloons that we blow up, and we blow into the balloon our expectations, whether it's about ourselves or somebody else, and then we let the balloon go and let it fly away or disappear into a little bit of, or the best thing to do is to blow it up and then pop it, so you release it by bursting that expectation. It's a sort of symbolic way of doing it. So using the release symbol is something you can perhaps do for yourself. Just write down in your journal all those things that you expect of yourself that you don't achieve. And you might just think of them as the day goes on, and you think, yeah, perhaps I expect too much of myself. It's so much better to go the other way. And then you're really happy when you achieve more. Now, another release, something for the release symbol, is getting other people off your back. So this happens at work a lot, of course, and it can happen with friends. People start to depend on you, to rely on you too much, and expect you to do things. And this can happen with parents. A lot of people have demanding parents. This is the sort of thing you can do to get their hooks out of you. When people hook into you, now, we all like to help, and some of us are leaders and some of us are organizers, but there are times when you feel this is too much. I don't want all this. I want to release of myself, because it steals your energy. You will be exhausted every day if you carry everybody else around, and they've hitched a lift which you don't particularly want them to have. So you use the cord, and you can use the cord and the release symbol, cut the cord and use the release to let go them, to put them away, and then put yourself in your armor and put yourself surrounded. And the egg I quite like. I said, get into an egg which has got thick walls and shut the door. Betty Shine used the egg. It was a very good one, she taught. And then you're in this lovely cocoon, and if you've got one person who's particularly difficult, you say, I am protected from Susan's energy now, right now, right now. I'm sealed. She cannot affect me. Right now, right now, right now. That's a nice, strong determination, and it really works. I used to say to nurses when I was helping nurses who get a bit overwhelmed, carers and that, you know, it's a 4-letter word. When people come at you with their negative stuff, their hooks, or their even just their abusive stuff, just use the 4-letter word, and it's duck. Let the stuff go over your head. Don't take it in personally. Just know that half the time people are venting out their own negativity. You don't have to take hold of it, and you don't have to carry it home. So duck and cut the cords. Anybody that dominates you, anybody that overwhelms you, cut the cord that binds you to them. Use the release symbol. I set myself free now, right now, right now. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to move on. We're nearly there, not too bad. Vows. Now, anybody that's worked with me knows that this is a big issue, and I do think everybody needs to do it. I was told once that we all have start off with 12 redundant vows that we need to clear. It's a promise you make, and it can be a promise you make. This could be your problem, Ceci. The stuff that you've promised that you don't need anymore. That we make promises in previous lifetimes. And when we don't fulfill the promise that we made, we get karma and we feel guilty. So that brings us down, and that worries us at a deep level, at soul level. So a very useful release is to let go. Yeah. Release all vows and contracts that no longer serve me now, right now, right now. So say that now. I release all vows and contracts that no longer serve me now, right now, right now, and use the release symbol. Release, release. And you asked if you can release self-abusive behavior. Yes, you can. I release the need to harm myself. Now, right now, right now. I release the need to harm myself. That's the start, and then you've got to find out why you do it. But you can release yourself from that habit. So going back to vows, the sort of vows that we've made that can impact you, and you'll find this with your clients as well if you're a healer. They make promises to a religion or a spiritual group in a previous life. Of course, marriage vows, and when you've divorced, you don't undo the vows, but you should. You may have made a promise to be with someone forever and ever and ever. Well, that person is a different character in this lifetime, so you're locking yourself in with karmic ties to someone that's not suitable. You may have made a vow after a difficult childbirth in a previous life, never to have another child, never to love again after you've been hurt, never to marry again if you've been in a bad marriage. Money may have caused problems, so you say you never want to have money. And of course, if you were a nun or a monk, you might have said poverty. You might have vowed yourself to be in poverty forever and ever, never to own property, and never to be a healer again. This is just a sample of vows you may have made, personal vows, which no longer work for you. So you say, I release all contracts and vows from previous incarnations now, right now, right now. This is now I'm going to just, if anybody's got that one. The next one is actually what E just mentioned, habits and addictions. Use the release symbol and thread, and thought patterns that you picked up from childhood. old attitudes, cultural attitudes, your mother's cultural attitudes, your father's things, like men are superior. Sorry, Steve, but I'm afraid no longer. Wealth makes you happy. You know, you've had that being said over and over in your childhood, authors, and old thoughts and beliefs about yourself that have come from the way your mother, father have treated you or spoken to you. So again, use the release and cut the cord to old thoughts and beliefs. Release yourself from them. I think I'm giving you a lot of work to do now. Works there, does work. So addictions, habits, thought patterns, attitudes. What else you need to release? You need to release your fears. Now, this goes hand in hand with also healing the imprints. So you're coming at it from two angles. So the fears that the imprints create, and then also to heal the underlying cause as well. This is you in control now, releasing any fear. Global fears. There's a whole lot of loads of global fears at the moment that we're going to get poorer and poorer and poorer, that people can just steal other people's countries and walk into them, that you have your own personal fears to deal with in the family as well. So use the thread and the release for all of those. Sorry, I'm nearly finished. I don't want to be too over the time because you've got other things you need to do today. But this is another symbol now I'm bringing in, and this is to be used for healing the things you've picked up from your family, your ancestors, healing your lineage. So you use this symbol, which you use with two hands to draw. You go up the body, connecting to your lineage now, right now, right now. And then you use the healing symbol to heal the imprints and scars of your ancestors. And then you release all negativity that's come through from your ancestors, through your genetics. And you bring it on down by bringing your hands down to heal all souls affected and children to come. Now, I'm just going to show you this. So you start off by connecting by using your hands like that to create the connection to your lineage. Then you use the healing symbol to heal all that has been passed through, and you bring that down. Then you release all the imprints and you bring that down, and you take it on down through the children of the children to come. So you're doing it for your own children and the unborn children and so on. So that one goes up and connects you to your ancestors. Then your healing symbol to bring it down through your ancestors, and then releasing all that you need to release from them as well. It feels very strong. You're doing it for yourself, but I can feel it working for you all. There's something you need to work on, and it's a very powerful process, and it works. And the great thing about it is you are healing the souls of every one of those people in your family tree, whichever way you look at the tree. That way it comes in down to you, but there's a big tree. And we've done some really powerful work with this, and a lot of my clients, clearing the past. You and I have spent hours sorting out all her Japanese ancestors. So I'm going to just leave you now with, gotta get into the right, go back to the screen, just with a few more symbols to share with you. Right, just a few more here. Peace and harmony, a great symbol to use in the home. I love to use that one for my distance healing for the universe. The solar logos, which is the spirit of the sun, so that is a masculine energy of empowerment, so that energizes, uplifts and empowers you. And this one for you, Ceci, is a protection symbol which you can use, and you start with you can start with anything, but I draw it with two hands from the baseline out, then up to the apex, and then the eye. So that one you can, we've got that made into pendants, because a lot of people like to put them on the key rings and put them around their neck. And I've got loads of stories of amazing things that the protection symbol's done for people. It brings in a lot of protection from the angels. I always feel that it brings in angelic forces, the protection symbol. Then if you want to meditate and then you find that difficult, you do the meditation symbol. So. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me with this. And as I said, there's 2 courses that I give, which are recorded, so you can do them in your own time. But we have monthly get-togethers in a little group that discuss healing. And then there's the book itself. So thank you so much for joining me today. Bless you.
Thank you.
Has anybody got any outstanding questions?
Thank you.
The pendants are on my website, annejones.org. Somebody's asked.
Anne, when you were saying earlier, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, yes. Hi. When you were just mentioning earlier about putting the healing symbol under food and water, does that mean it's that then the water will be healing every time you drink it?
It raises the vibration of it, Siobhan.
I know with the food, that is that sort of clearing any energies that are in with the food? Yeah.
Yes, especially if you have food that comes through pre-cooked or even pre-prepared, you know, the people who've touched that food, their energies have gone into it.
Yeah. I'd get really affected by that. Yeah.
And yes, well, you're particularly sensitive, so it's really important that you do that. And there's others things, even secondhand furniture, anything like that, they all hold the energy of the people who've had it before. And if you're very sensitive, you see, you might be more sensitive than you realize. You might be thinking that these are your energies that you're carrying around, where they could well be the energies of other people that are affecting you.
Yeah.
Why protection is really important. And I know that Reiki don't really go much on the protection. There's a new age thing that, you know, well, if you say you're protecting, you're giving strength to the darker energies. Well, sorry, no, protect yourself. Just do it. You wouldn't go outside in the pouring rain without a coat or an umbrella. We've got to be practical, haven't we? We are spiritual beings, but we're living in a human world, and we have to live with the challenges we've got here the best possible way we can. And anything that you can do that helps you keep your peace, your inner peace, your calm, keeps you happy, keeps you uplifted, do it. Even if that includes a glass of wine, yes, definitely do it. Yeah, we're not those days of having to sacrifice ourselves, etc. So they've gone. That's not the way it is anymore. You just hold your light strong. That's the most important. So,
and all these symbols are on your cards as well.
Yes, there's a set of cards. This like these cards, and you can use these as sort of messages for you for the day, because they've got on the back, they've got a message and a something about the energy that you can use in your daily life. Yeah.
And we can get those on your site.
Also on my site, yeah. Keep
Thank
Brenda
you.
busy. Keep Brenda busy. She likes it when she gets orders and sends them out. She says, I've been down to the post office. So she loves that. She absolutely loves doing that. So.
Thanks. Is the book on there as well on
Yeah.
your site? Oh, thanks.
Signed copies are on the website. Yeah, yeah. So bless you all. And if you want to, some of you are here from our group, but if you're a member, you get everything discounted. And this was a special one because if I charge for a website, you get it discounted. All the products are discounted. The courses are discounted if you become a member. And if you're a member, you can join in every month. We have a little gathering, a bit like this, don't we, Tina? Don't we?
Yeah.
We get together and we discuss the things that are coming up in our lives that need a bit of healing and any spiritual matters that we need to discuss. Put the worlds to right, put ourselves to right.
It's my world.
Oh, that's your world.
That's great.
Pen.
Oh, I like that. That's a bit
That's
more
great.
fun than mine. That's fine.
£2.
Oh, there you go, Tina. You can start selling them. I think you could do well. Bless you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Anne. You're magic and you're
Thank
beautiful,
you.
and we love you.
Yeah, we do. We
Yeah,
love you.
thank you.
I'll do another one of these soon.
Bye, Anne.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Mel.
How'd you leave?
You should be able to leave, but Mel asked the question I didn't answer, but
Bottom right.
if anybody's got a question that they didn't answer, being a member, how do you attend the sessions? I send out an email every month to members. If you're not getting it, send me an email, annejones.org, and I'll make sure you get the invite. Anybody's not getting in the newsletters and things, it's all there. Okay, Mel. Okay, right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.